Hey everyone, Catherine with Colorado Yard Care. So we all know that winter watering trees is a really important thing to do to maintain their health. But what do you do if the trees that you need to water are far away from any water source? Well, let me show you one method that I've worked out that actually works pretty well. Okay, so let me show you the setup that we're using today. This is the back of a pickup truck, and we have a tank back here. This is a 55-gallon tank that's just holding pure water. In this case, we're using a tank that can also be used as a sprayer, but we're not using it as that for our winter watering. So really you can use any type of tank, 55 gallons, 100 gallons, anything that'll just be like a big giant bucket will work. And then we have a garden hose, and that garden hose on this end is connected to a watering wand. You can see right here, just a typical watering wand to break the pressure of the spray from the garden hose. And then here we have a 12-volt battery, and that's used to power our pump. And so we have these connections here, that's the positive, and then the negative one that will power our pump. And so what we do is we have on this side of the garden hose, we have a bilge pump. And this is just a regular bilge pump that you can buy at a boating store. This one happens to be a 500 gallon per hour bilge pump. It costs $29.99, and you just wire it to run off of the 12-volt battery over here. So I'm going to drop this down in the tank. So in this case, this one, when it came out of the package, it just had straight wires with no clamps on it. So what we did is we got some wire nuts and then extended the wires so that it would reach the battery. And then we bought these little battery clamps at AutoZone. I'm sure you can find them other places. So when we turn on the, or we connect the clamp to the terminal, you can hear the pump turn on in there. And what it's doing is it's just creating some pressure to start pumping water from the tank into the garden hose. So you want to make sure that this is as low as possible in the tank. Now I should mention that this type of bilge pump does connect to a garden hose. You can see it already has a threaded fitting built into the pump right here. And that's really important because not all bilge pumps have that threaded connection. So you want to make sure that you ask for one that will connect to a regular size garden hose. And then what happens is that now when we open this, we have water coming out, which is really wonderful. Okay, and then this particular watering wand has this really nifty little handle that will allow the wand to kind of automatically shut off. So I've connected the pump and it's running, but this is actually off right now. Now if I walk over here and then turn the handle on, see I've squeezed the handle, then the water starts coming out. And that's really nice because that allows me to not waste the precious water in this tank. So then we can go over here and water this tree. This is a beautiful pinyon pine that was planted last fall and desperately needs water. And you can see that this is a really easy way to winter water trees that are not close to any type of building. And so our goal here is to just moisten the root ball and also some of the soil that's surrounding the root ball so that the water absorbing roots can take up water and keep this tree alive. So when I'm actually winter watering the tree, what I try to do is get all the way around the tree, particularly on the west side because that's the side that the winter winds come from and that's the side that's going to be the most dry. I water close to the trunk of the tree so that the water will fill up the slight basin that we've created, and that will keep the root ball moist. But what I also do is I water around the drip line. So the drip line is just the area of the soil where right under the tips of the branches. So where I'm watering right now is the drip line of this tree. And that's where most of the water absorbing roots will be, and we want to encourage them to grow there. So I water all the way around the drip line to make sure that that soil is nice and moist for the water absorbing roots. Now this particular tree has netting and stakes around it to keep the deer from rubbing on it while it's still young. So that's why there's this material surrounding the tree. Okay, here's a deciduous tree that I'm going to winter water, and I think it might be a little easier to see the method that I use because there isn't the netting around the tree. So what I do is, you can see there's a basin here, and we're going to fill up this basin with water to moisten the existing root ball. But we don't want those roots to stay there forever, right? We want them to grow out into the soil surrounding the root ball. So we look at this tree and we kind of get an estimate of where the drip line is. And here it's kind of like right around here. So we're going to water, got a branch in the face. We're going to water all the way around the drip line as well, okay? So we kind of move the hose slowly all the way around the outside of this basin. And that's really important because the roots won't grow into dry soil. So you've got to moisten the soil to make sure that the roots will eventually grow out there. So water the basin and then water around the edge of the basin at the drip line. You know, with the 500 gallon per hour bilge pump, the water doesn't come out very quickly, but to me this is actually a pretty good flow rate, because if the water was coming out much more quickly, we'd be blasting soil out of this basin. So for me, this is actually a pretty good flow rate for watering trees. Now this system you can use typically if you're a landscaper and you're watering a lot of trees, or you can also use it if you're a large property owner and you've got trees that are planted out on small acreage or even large acreage. If you have any questions about what products I've used in this video, I will post a link on my resources page at coloradoyardcare.com. Pretty neat system, really simple, pretty inexpensive to set up, and a great way to help your newly planted trees thrive.